Hello, welcome to a very special episode of the NSYNC UK Space Cowboys podcast. As usual, I'm Sam, and today I am joined by fellow Space Cowboys Verena and Maggie. And what an exciting couple of weeks we've had. Not only were we treated to the inclusion of Bye 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 in the new Deadpool and Wolverine movie, but as a result, we got to see four of our guys, Chris, JC, Joey, and Lance, attend the premiere. Plus, the song has been catapulted back into the charts. It's trending on social media with content being created across Instagram and TikTok, and it has reached number 10 on the Spotify Global Top 50, number 18 on Billboard's Global 200, and it even entered or re-entered the official UK chart at number 30. This is
Woo! Yeah.
Thank you guys. That does deserve a round of applause. It's amazing to see the guys back up there again. And I think ultimately, I say all of this as our intro because I mentioned we've got a really special guest on with us today who actually has a very well-known connection to Bye Bye Bye. We are so thrilled to invite him onto the show. He is a choreographer, a dancer, an actor, a producer within the NSYNC fandom. I say you will know him best as the genius behind the Bye 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 dance, for which he won the coveted MTV Best Choreography Award, and very well deserved it was too, as the dance still remains popular today. And these days, you'll likely see Darrin on screen as he has jumped firmly into the acting world. Double Cross and The Family Business, just two of the most recent shows that you may have seen him in. And with upcoming roles on the horizon, we are so pleased to welcome NSYNC royalty, Darrin Henson.
Woo!
Darrin, welcome, welcome.
It is so good to be on with you.
We're so thrilled to have you.
That was a great intro. I love that.
Was it?
Yes.
Did we get it all correct? We always like to
Yeah,
fact
I
check
love
ourselves.
that. I'm bringing you with me everywhere.
Okay, we're
That's a
cool.
good plan. Yeah,
We can do intros whenever you like. You just give us a call and we're there with you. But we're so grateful to have you on here. And I think when we reached out and connected with you online, you know, everything's so hot at the moment, and we've seen you obviously really extra active on social and within the media. And we obviously mentioned the new Deadpool and Wolverine movie, and I think we've got so much we want to talk to you today about. Obviously, we're an NSYNC podcast, so I know our listeners are going to have so much they want to hear from you about your experiences with the guys, and obviously choreographing the dance for Bye Bye Bye, the routine for Bye Bye Bye. But obviously, seeing it kind of brought back to life in Deadpool and Wolverine, that must have been a real proud moment to kind of see your moves up on the big screen.
Well, it was a surprise, number one, because to be honest, nobody contacted me and told me that was actually going to happen. But it's the 24th year, and it really has been celebrated, but now exponentially. Like now, the whole world is doing it again, like it's 2000 all over again.
Yes.
And
It's crazy.
I've been contacted by Forbes magazine and people from Good Morning America on this side, and I mean my DMs are just filled with groovers who have Darrin's dance grooves and who are fans of NSYNC. And I mean, even in the UK, as you can imagine, Darrin's dance grooves was huge in the UK, and I remember when I came there and did the tour, the Darrin's dance grooves tour. And it's a really wonderful feeling to be celebrated along, as the creator and the choreographer of it, to be celebrated and re-celebrated. There's this great cacophony and this beautiful energy that's happening, all around me. I think when you get the opportunity to celebrate something like this, twice this big, like when does that really happen? So it's phenomenal.
And there's such a big time difference as well between the first time and now. And with a lot of new fans, which is what we're seeing, a lot of younger fans, a lot of people that are pure Deadpool fans but are now enjoying the song, which they never maybe would have back in the day. So that has been really great for us. That's been great for us to see. So I can only imagine how amazing that's been for you to witness as well.
It's extraordinary.
Yeah, it's not just us like rediscovering it, who were there the first time round, but it's in 2000, but it's all the new people who are seeing it now and checking out what it's all about and where it came from. You see so many people saying, what, this is so old already, and they're not even realizing it, because it's all new to them. So
well, it's to me, it's not even old, it's ageless.
yeah,
Right?
absolutely. Yeah.
It's ageless because now we have two different generations of people who are and really three different generations because children are doing it now.
Yeah.
So you have the people who knew the dance 24 years ago, then you have the 12 and 13-year-olds, and then you have the 5-year-olds learning the dance. So it's literally, three generations of people celebrating the dance. It's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, what's nice about this is, I think, because, lots of movies use soundtracks of, old songs. They've always done that, especially in the Marvel universe. But this one actually incorporated the routine, which made it completely different. I think it's totally next level because it's not just people reconnecting with that song, but the fact that they actually use the routine in the movie just makes it just so crazy.
Iconic.
It was
yes.
It was amazing because I saw the gentleman who auditioned to play the part, and you can hear the Darrin's Dance Grooves DVD in the background.
No way.
Yeah. And it's so amazing because you can hear my voice in the background and him learning from it, him going, this thing is hard. He's like, but ultimately I got it. The fun part is the whole world is doing it again. The movie is almost, I think, at $1 billion already.
Oh God. Yeah.
In terms of worldwide, ticket sales. The whole world is dancing again. People are happy again. That's what is important to me.
Yeah.
And you got to think about the genius Ryan Reynolds, who was clearly the guy who came up with the idea to use it in the first place. Right? So you've got to say, his creativity and his mindfulness and his playfulness and his fun, right?
Yeah.
Is what lent itself to the whole idea. And so, I just, again, it's amazing. Again, my DMs on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, I don't have enough time in a day to look at them all, but it's really wonderful. I've talked to most of the guys in NSYNC, and most recently today with Chris, and spoke with Joey the other day, and as I was saying, I was, Justin's there with you guys, and I was talking to Johnny all week long, and it's just it's a whirlwind again. It's like the year 2000 all over again.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. And I think when we look now at what the world's like today and obviously social media, and I think, you mentioned those different age groups of fans and kids who are now getting in and learning this dance. And I think, maybe not the real kiddies, but social media has such a role to play with that. I mean, even looking back to something, relatively recently, but a few years ago now, Bye 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 and the dance was featured in Ted Lasso. And it didn't blow up as big as it has now.
I didn't even know that. I just found out.
Oh, wow.
I found out yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
wow.
I found out yesterday.
Yeah. Have you seen it?
But now I have.
Yeah.
But it speaks to, again, I think it, when I have to be honest, when I think of what this does, it's like, when you think, like, to me, when I think of the greatest entertainer in the world, I think of two people. I think of Michael Jackson and Prince, and I think of Prince and Michael Jackson, right? And I worked with both of them. Okay. But when you think about dance steps, you think about Billie Jean, you think about Thriller, you think about Rhythm Nation, right? You but I mean, Thriller and Beat It, these are some of the biggest dances in the world. And now in some crazy way, Bye 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 is on the mantle
I know.
with Billie Jean.
Yeah.
It's true, yeah.
You know?
It's so iconic. It's you
and
did
it's
that.
so surreal to me. Yeah. It's like, you know, I'm this guy from the Bronx who, you know, I worked with the guys and I worked with them on their Disney special, which was the first time I worked with them.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay.
You know,
How did
I
that
did
come
the,
about? How did you get linked up with them?
I was actually in Germany and I was working with Marky Mark at the time, Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
I remember being in the gym and I looked up and, you know, in Germany, they, you know, it was like the home of the boy bands. They broke all the boy bands there first.
Yeah.
And I was like, who are these funky white boys? And it was NSYNC. And that's when they had Here We Go out. And I was like, these dudes are dope. And then by the time I got back home, because I had already choreographed for CNC Music Factory, Color Me Bad, High Five, Lisa Lisa, you know, I had done those groups already. And so by the time, you know, I had done New Kids on the Block, which is how I worked with Marky Mark. And so by the time we were coming back, I don't know, I got a telephone call because, you know, I was kind of like the guy on the scene at that time. And they said, we got to, oh no, actually I started working with Britney first. I started working with Britney because I did the Sometimes video and then I did You Drive Me
I love
Crazy.
that dance.
Wow.
Yeah. Sometimes I run.
And
I
then,
didn't
and then Johnny, of course, who was the same manager, was like, I want you to work with my guys. And it was NSYNC. And they had a Disney special that they were, you know, being introduced to America. So I choreographed the Disney special. So that was my introduction with NSYNC. I started with them when they did their first Disney special. And then the tours, and then of course, Bye 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 came when they were being released from their former, you know, relationship with the company that they were releasing themselves from contractually. And then Johnny calls me and he goes, and that was after I did Jordan Knight's Give It to You.
Oh gosh, that was
love
after
that song, and
yes.
I love that video. That video
Right?
and that choreography is iconic.
Yeah.
Like,
thank you. And so
Yes.
I did Give It to You in 99 and Bye 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 in 2000. And then I was like, I don't know, Johnny. I'm kind of like, you know, slowing down with choreography because now I'm on a television series called Soul Food, which was a huge show. You know, it was a huge movie. And I was like, I don't know. He's like, Darrin, the guys want you. You got to do this. And then, you know, he called me and I said, okay. And I went in and I put the dance steps together and choreographed it and put it on the guys. And Bye 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 was born.
There you go.
And then by the time September rolled around, it was a hit video all over the world. And I think it was on September 11th in 2000, September 10th or 11th, I won the MTV Music Award for Bye Bye Bye.
woo!
Just
amazing.
Yes.
And it was
So
so
when you-
amazing when it happened because you see me on stage when we were all accepting the award for best pop video. And,
Yeah. Oh, so when you first heard the Bye 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 song, did the steps come to you straight away, or did you have to kind of like take some time?
Oh my God. I remember when I heard this song, I was like, this song is hot. You know, it was dope. I remember just moving to it, you know, and my arms started moving and I was like, oh, I'm gonna rock this song. And you know, they left me alone and I was like, just go somewhere, just leave me alone. And I was in the studio and putting it together. And I remember I had my friend Tony with me and I would do something. I was like, how does that look? He's like, that's dope. And I was like, nah, I don't like the way that feels. And I would do something else. And I was like, that feels better. And I would put that on there. And then I would, you know, just hit. And it was so driving that by the time we were doing it, I put it on them and it was just incredible. And I remember watching the guys in the rehearsal performing it. I was like, this is going to be crazy when the world gets to
Yeah.
see this.
And it was.
Yeah.
It was, and it still is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
People
like we
still,
say,
And of
yeah.
course,
positive time.
the director who directed the video, I mean, phenomenal
Wayne
phenomenal
Isham.
Was it
director,
Wayne
Wayne
Isham?
Isham.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Wayne
Yeah,
Isham, yeah.
just phenomenal. And I think we were all at the right place at the right time, at the right time in the world, with the right song, with the right dance steps. It all tied in to where I think there was this, you know, it was like the heartbeat of the world.
Yes.
You know, it's the gift that keeps on giving, right? Because if something is tapped in, tuned in, and turned on, it never stops. Like again, like Billie Jean never stops.
Yeah.
Bye 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 never stops.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
And so it's incredible.
As you said, it's so timeless. It fits into every generation, and you know, every generation picks up on it because it's just so spot on and right and timeless. You know?
Yeah, it really is. Go on, Maggie.
I was going to say, when you created the dance move, the iconic bye bye bye, did you do it consciously for like it to be easily copied by fans? Do you know what I mean?
Whenever I choreographed, like, I mean, you know, there were other artists out at the time, like Backstreet Boys were out. You know, when I was choreographing for Britney, you had, you know, Aaliyah out, you know, rest in peace. You know, all these different people. So it was other choreographers out there, but you know, when I choreographed, it was always war, man. Like I was coming for you. So everything had to be powerful and staccato and strong and you know,
we felt that, didn't we?
Yeah.
We felt that with the guys, definitely.
Yeah. It was war. It was like, we will not lose. We will not lose, you know? And it was just, it had to be powerful and it had to make a statement.
Yeah.
And, you know, the moves, they're expressive of how the song made me feel.
Yeah.
And listening to the guys' voices and, you know, I'm doing this tonight. Right? It's like, it's so powerful.
Yeah.
You know? And so the moves were created, you know, from, you know, that way, you know? It's
It's true. Well, what was the guys' impression when you first showed and taught them the dance? And I guess, how did they adapt to it? Did they pick it up pretty quickly? Did they like
the
move?
guys are dope. They pick up. But I remember when I broke it down, they were like, oh yeah. Like they were excited to get into it. And you know, JC's a hell of a dancer too.
Yeah.
You know? And he attacked the dance steps, and Justin is smooth and stylized, and you know, Joey worked hard and Chris worked hard and Lance, and like everybody was excited, you know, at different levels at that time. But my job was to make sure that they all looked great performing it, right? So it couldn't be because Lance was on one level and JC was on another level, and you know, Joey was on one level and then Chris was on. It's like, no. We're gonna work this out until you guys look great. And we did that, you know, and the other thing was, when we were doing the video, you know, we had to move into the revolving room.
Yes.
And at that time, right? So revolving room, we
yeah.
actually had to do the routine in the revolving room.
Wow.
And the routine, when we did it, they did something called high speed. Because when you play high speed, or you in a video, when you film high speed, when you process it, everything is slow.
Right.
It becomes in slow motion. So we had to do the dance in high speed. And so it was really intricate, and you know, but we got it done. But at that time, the video was so incredible and so innovative, but people didn't know that Fred Astaire had done that in a movie called Royal Wedding years ago, where his room was rotating. It's called Royal Wedding. And then Boogaloo Shrimp, Michael Chambers did it in Electric Boogaloo. Movie that came after Breakin', with him and Shabadoo, the very famous street dance film, Breaking. The second movie they did was called Electric Boogaloo, where Boogaloo Shrimp, again, he did that. And then Lionel Richie did it in a video called Dancing on the Ceiling.
Yes.
Oh, I love that
That
song.
is true. Yeah.
But to show you how powerful the video is, nobody ever thought about those other videos or movies.
No,
It's true.
it's true.
They've gone like disappeared because of yeah.
This one stands on its own. Like there's no other video that's like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. What I was really wondering, so obviously we're talking about the Bye 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 video. I don't know what the timing of that was when that was recorded, but correct us if we're wrong here, but my understanding is that the first, I guess, performance of Bye 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 was the American Music Awards, January 2000. So before the No Strings Attached album had even come out. So I think they performed this live there. Can you recall, was the video recorded before that performance?
We did actually we did the Billboard Awards first, where we introduced it. And then the American Music Awards came up. And I think after the American Music Awards, we did the video. I don't remember which came first, the video or the American Music Awards. But the American Music Awards is always in January.
Yes, that's right.
It's always in January. And we had the full dance done for the American Music Awards. So that was very early 2000.
Yeah. And really interesting when I watch back those award performances, and you often see that any artist will put on kind of different moves and different choreography. And when you look at those early performances, there's a lot more kind of extra puppetry moves in it in a few occasions than you see either in the video or in the later performances. So was that something specifically because it was an award show, or was it something you tried and then decided to phase out?
No, if we actually did it for the video as well, but remember, you have other components to the video. Like we had to show the girls.
That's right.
So what happens is they were actually doing it in the dance routine, but you don't, you know what I mean? Like there's other components to the video that had to be shown as well.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think there's one particular bit where two of the guys are sat on the floor and two of them behind and kind of lift them up under their arms. And I think you're right. I do recall seeing that quickly in the video, but obviously on the performances, you do see it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I guess just going back to, obviously you mentioned the Disney special was the first time you met the guys. What was your first impressions of them? And ultimately, what was, from all the time that you worked with them, what was their work ethic like in the studio?
Honestly, we're like all brothers, like those were my 5 white brothers, you know what I mean? it was like I was the brown brother, right? But remember, the first time I saw them, I was in Germany, and I was incredibly impressed, and I was like, I want to work with these guys, because remember, I worked with New Kids on the Block, so I was privy to the boy bands, right? I worked with LFO. Those were my groups, you know what I mean? So I wanted NSYNC, like I wanted them, like they were incredible. And so when I got to work with them and I got to meet with them, and most of the time we rehearsed in Orlando, like these dudes were funky, man. They were fun to be around. We had so much fun together. And I think that's why, if you look at a lot of the work, like Digital Get Down, same thing. It's like they're all phenomenal routines. And because we had so much fun doing them. I remember when I used to teach Justin how to pop and glide. I have all of those videotapes of all the early routines. I have all of that stuff. If you watch my documentary on Amazon Prime, you'll see some of that stuff in there on my documentary, which is called The Untold Darrin Henson Story, right? Darrin's Dance Grooves, on Amazon Prime. And like, I have some of that footage in there, and it's just so amazing.
Oh, fantastic. We love to hear those stories of them from back in the day. And I think ultimately that's what we still know them as today. And obviously, having seen Justin perform tonight as well, it's so amazing to kind of see where his journey came from and
so
see
awesome.
where it's led to. Yeah, it really is. Obviously you mentioned your documentary there, and we also mentioned earlier the DVD that was released. I think iconic again is probably a word that we'd use to describe Darrin's dance grooves, and obviously as that included over here as well. We believe it sold over 5 million copies, which
Wow.
considering back in the day, and also I think also I guess really helped, I guess, with your profile within that kind of world, with obviously NSYNC, with Britney, with Jordan Knight, all these artists you've mentioned. And again, at a time when there was no social media, so to have that impact from that DVD to hit so many millennials and others, you know, different ages around, that must be something you're so proud of.
I completely am. You know, when you talk about that, yeah, it did 5 million.
Wow.
In the US alone. I think it did 2 or 3 million in the UK.
Wow.
And you have other numbers like Australia and China and Japan and all of that. But I mean, yeah, in the US about 5 million and about 3 million in the UK. You know, the way I think about it and I see it is sorry about that, you guys. The way I think about that and I see it is it's just phenomenal to me because it just shows you when you love something and you work hard at it and you dreams do come true. Like all of it stems from me wanting to work with Michael Jackson. You know, I developed my skills so I could get to work with Michael. And then after working with Michael in 1995 and traveling with him and performing with him, it was like I was sharpened. And although I had done so much other work prior to it, after working with Michael Jackson, I was so sharpened that, yeah, of course I choreographed Bye Bye Bye. Of course I choreographed J-Lo, Love Don't Cost a Thing. Of course I, choreographed for George Michael when I did Killer Papa and Prince. And, it just shows you how far dreams can travel when you love what you do and you give your all to it. It just speaks volumes. So that's why I tell people, dream the biggest dream and keep dreaming and then put effort behind it and believe in yourself and don't let anybody tell you. So many people told me that I couldn't do it. So many people would say, well, how are you going to do this? And you can't do that. And you don't have these, resources. And I said, watch me. And so all these years later, and knowing that all of my dreams came true and keep coming true, and now I have new dreams, it's just a way for me to share my dreams with people so they can fulfill theirs.
Yeah, that's so special. I think such an important message that everyone can get behind. I think let's actually go there then, and let's turn this around to you and learn more about you aside from NSYNC days. So going back to the very beginning, you mentioned Michael Jackson a couple of times, and it's our understanding that he was really your inspiration for kind of why you wanted to follow a career in dance.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Well, as a young child, I grew up on the Jackson 5, and I grew up, watching, the television shows and the videos, and I used to have dreams of being around, literally strong dreams of being around Michael Jackson. So, my trajectory was to work with him. And, I was a dancer clearly, and then I stepped into the position of choreographer. I started out on a television show called Club MTV, which was a huge dance show with downtown Julie Brown. And, I used to dance in high school and I used to perform. And then I started choreographing for different artists, like I said, SWV, Color Me Bad, Lisa, CNC Music Factory,
Wow.
New Kids on the Block, George Michael, Donna Summer, Spice Girls.
Oh, you work with the Spice Girls. That's cool.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
All of that. I just posted some stuff on my Instagram. If you look at the Darrin's Dance Grooves DVD box cover video, you'll see me with the Spice Girls, and you'll hear what Britney's saying about me. Like, all of that is in my documentary as well. And so, it just, one thing led to another, and I got to work with Michael Jackson, and then the following year I got to work with Prince, and then Prince, had me choreograph for him, and so we went and choreographed the Brit. I choreographed for Prince, and we performed on the Brit Awards,
Oh,
and
wow.
Wow.
that's where, yeah, and that's where I met the Spice Girls, and then the Spice Girls called me to choreograph for them. Like one thing just kept leading to another thing, kept leading to
Yeah.
another thing. And
Yeah,
so that's the history of the dream. It just kept coming true.
yeah, yeah. And how would you describe your approach, I guess, to choreographing a song? We obviously spoke a bit about Bye 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 earlier, but in general, when you hear a new track and you're asked to choreograph a routine to it, do you, I guess, is your first step to deep dive into the lyrics to understand the sentiments, or do you focus on other things first? I'm just curious as to what the mechanics are of ultimately coming up with the routines.
I literally lock myself in the room and turn the music up as loud as it can get without getting distorted. And I just move and I put it together piece by piece, section by section, chorus by chorus, verse by verse, bridge by bridge, until it comes out to be what it is. Like, I can't tell you how it happens. It evolves. And I put it together and I work on it until it feels right, until it looks right, until it is right. It's just a kind of musical, physical, spiritual agreement until you get to what you consider to be the dance.
Yeah, yeah, fantastic. It's so interesting hearing the mechanics because obviously we mentioned earlier we see these dances and we learn these dances. Um, but we don't know obviously where they necessarily came from. And so it's really exciting and interesting. So thank you for the insight on that because it just adds a little bit of an extra layer to it for us. Bit of
It's
a deep
somebody
dive.
asked me a long time ago, and this is really the interesting part of it.
Mm,
If you can imagine with me and come on a ride mentally with me, imagine creating something and then having 5 amazing artists do it that send it out, and then imagine it reaching all out into the world, and then millions of people are doing it. Like, it's just mind
Blows
blowing
your mind.
because
Yeah.
it brings everybody into one, that one feeling, that one emotion that I had, that one thought that I had. It literally taps me into millions of people and them into me.
Wow. And that's something that
It's
you created as well from scratch. That is,
yeah,
it was all you.
it's mind blowing. It's
Yeah.
mind blowing. And the guys they're the conduits, right? Like their voices, and then of course the music production is phenomenal. And that's what I mean by it being the perfect storm.
Yeah.
Right? Like I talk about this where everybody thought everything was being disconnected in 2000, right? Everybody was like, Y2K, disconnect.
yeah.
We were actually connecting the world and bringing the world together.
And we felt that, I think, as fans, 100%.
Yeah.
When that song
And people are
dropped.
feeling it all over again.
Yeah. And I think
and it lives on.
The difference is now that we can see how the rest of the world is taking it in
Reacting,
through social media. Now we've got all
Yes.
the TikTok videos and Instagram videos where we
Yes.
actually see people doing it. Before they were doing it, but they weren't able to share it in the same way that they are now. So now you open TikTok right now, it's bye bye bye. every second video, right? It's somebody doing the routine to bye bye bye. Yeah, it's trending, of course. Yeah. It was number one. It was trending number one, right? Like a few
Yeah,
days
trending
ago.
#1 on Instagram, #1 song, and I think it was because people were,
Yes.
and particularly on
Doing the
TikTok as well, were
routine.
putting up the
Yeah.
routines. Yeah.
It's amazing. It's
It-
phenomenal.
Mhm.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah, just
Have
one of
people
the,
reached out to you to come and teach them the dance
Yeah, so
recently?
many. You know, I mean, the interesting thing is right now, like I just finished directing a episode of a television series, and clearly my series, The Family Business, is on right now. It's #1 on BET right now. And
Oh,
um
congratulations.
yeah,
thank you. And
fantastic.
so, you know, there's a lot that I'm doing right now. And so I'm talking about putting together a Darrin's Dance Grooves tour right now. So I'm gonna go back on tour
Yes.
and teach all of my dances, like Bye Bye Bye, teach all of the, you know, You Drive Me Crazy, the Give It
Oh
to
my
You, like
God.
really
You got to bring
the
it to the
full.
UK.
Yes,
We'll all be
I'm coming
there.
to
Yes,
the UK as well.
please.
That
And
would be
you
incredible.
know, and hopefully encourage people to stop rioting in the UK and dance,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yeah.
Much more
And
positive.
Love.
you know, we're putting all of that together right now because, you know, we want to heal the world, and
Hmm.
we want the world to be peaceful and happy and healthy and whole.
Hmm.
And I think through dance and music we can
Yeah,
discover that and achieve that.
agreed.
100%.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely,
just being at
definitely want that
Justin's
here.
show today and watching his show and the dancing and the whole performance, just, just makes your heart sing. Like,
Hmm.
honestly, it's like therapy. It's better than therapy.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it
true.
makes you
And
feel so good.
Hmm.
it
Yeah.
really does. And I think that where the show was, and we were kind of down by the B stage, at the back of the arena, there was a second stage,
Uh-huh.
and we had the dancers literally next to us. Like it was almost that we were going to get trampled on at one point because they were so close to us.
Hmm.
But it was so immersive, and we really felt it, and we were looking at them, and they were smiling at us, and it was just that, like you mentioned, that connection. That's what we got from
Hmm.
Justin's show. I think tonight
Hmm.
was it wasn't just about him, and he was amazing. But his musicians, the Tennessee kids, basically. I think the musicians,
I
the
love them
dancers,
so much.
Hmm.
yeah,
They're
Yeah,
they're
so
so
insane.
good.
talented.
Hmm.
They're
Yeah.
they're
So
phenomenal.
good.
They
Yeah.
really are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
and
mean, that's one of the
it's
things I was looking forward to seeing Justin, obviously, but I was so looking forward to see the Tennessee kids perform because they're just incredible, and I think they're just
So amazing.
evolving constantly as well. They're
Hmm.
just so
yeah,
good.
yeah, they really are. And it's not just their talent, like as either vocalists or musicians or dancers. It was, like I said, it was that connection. It was that
Yeah.
enthusiasm,
The
that drive,
energy. The
the energy.
energy.
Yeah, the performance. It was just another level, and to have it
Hmm.
so close to us as well, like I said, you just felt part of it. And I think we've walked away and we're slightly stunned about it still because it was just an amazing show. That's why I'm so glad we've got so many more to take it in, because I feel like we haven't been able to take it in on
Yeah.
one
One
on
isn't
one go.
enough.
No,
No, definitely not.
no, it's
Yeah.
true.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah, it really is. Do you think you'll get to see Justin's show out in the States?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
good.
I think he's back over there
Absolutely.
again for a second US leg after he's
Yeah, I
finished
Yeah.
think
over
in
here.
September he's
Yeah.
back,
Yeah,
isn't he? Or
Yeah,
October
yeah,
or
exactly.
something. Yeah.
yeah, highly
Oh, that would be
recommended.
good.
Yeah, exactly. Right, taking it back just a little bit to I guess what you're doing now. So you made your acting debut in the year 2000, actually. So a very popular and busy year for you. And obviously we've mentioned the shows you're in, and from what we can see online, you've got a lot of upcoming roles as well. I guess would you say that acting is now your main focus, and your #1 love, or what's your view on that, I guess?
Well, I look, dancing is still my love, and I still
Yeah,
dance and I still choreograph. Um, but yeah, you know, I've learned to love acting and telling stories and directing and
yeah,
producing. You know, as I said, I just finished directing a episode of a new series that I've created. And you know, I act on The Family Business, and I
yes.
produce and act on Double Cross.
Mm.
But like you can tell, like movies like Stomp the Yard, you know, where I'm dancing and acting, and it was that, you know, that's another
Yeah.
phenomenal dance film. But yeah, you know, the medium of film and television is where I've been living for quite some time now.
Hmm.
Yeah. I guess that's the creative industry as well. And, I think there's transferable skills from one to the other. And obviously, say we were talking about the stuff that you're doing now, but ultimately it's again a 24-year career in that
Yes.
industry as well.
Yes.
Fantastic. So, before we go, you mentioned obviously with your directing and some of your upcoming gigs. So I guess this is our chance where we give our guests their chance to tell us what's going on, what's next.
Well,
So
I
what do
can't.
you want our listeners to know?
Yeah, I can't really say the name of the project right now
Oh.
because it's forthcoming, and so of course, we have contractual commitments, so I can't say the name of the project, but it's pretty incredible, and it's a drama series, and with some very, very notable names in it, and I just say stay tuned because you're gonna hear
Watch
about
this
it.
space. Watch this
Yeah,
space.
yes,
Oh, we
and the
can't wait.
family business is in its fifth season, fifth episode. It's a BET series. It's called The Carl Weber's The Family Business, and I play Orlando Duncan on the show, who's
cool name.
yeah, I think so too. The son of Elsie Duncan, which is played by Ernie Hudson, who is the gentleman that you will know from Ghostbusters.
Oh gosh, yes.
Cool.
Yeah,
That name rings a bell.
yeah, Ernie Hudson is the actor from Ghostbusters. And
Wow.
so, we have a great time on set, and it's a lot of fun to work with him on the show. And I think we have another season coming up, so we're diligently working towards season 6 on the
Cool.
show. And as season 5 is unfolding, and I have another couple of projects that I'm going to be filming within the next couple of months. So just training for those and working out, getting that superhero look, and just excited about all of it.
What kind of character is Orlando for those who haven't watched the show yet?
Orlando would be the equivalent to Michael Corleone in The Godfather.
Oh gosh, yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. He's the
Oh, I
equivalent
like
to
that.
Michael Corleone. Yeah. He's the equivalent to Al Pacino's character in The Godfather.
Oh my
So
goodness.
he's a gangster, basically.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Do you still choreograph now?
I do. I just did something the other day that will be out next week. So yeah, you're gonna see a lot. I did a couple of years ago. I did a really cool video called Fine China, for Chris Brown's song Fine China.
Cool.
And I put that video out just to have fun. I just felt like, doing something fun, and I really loved that song quite a few years ago, but it wasn't like a dance studio film. Like I really did a music video for it. So if you look up Fine China by Darrin Henson, and then I have a whole dance film that is not out yet, where a lot of dancers and choreographers are in it, specifically Adolfo Quinones, Michael Chambers, Hugo Huizar, Amrapali Mbagalkar. So we fuse hip hop dance and street dance with traditional Indian Kathak dance. And it's a beautiful, it's a beautiful story, love story as well.
So in connection with that, so with the potential upcoming reunion of the guys, if they would hit you up, would you be up for it?
You never know. It might happen.
Oh wow.
Oh, Darrin.
We might be working on we might be working on some new material.
Oh gosh, we are so excited.
I tapped into
handle
something there.
Yeah,
I left the good question for the end.
Yeah, it's a good question because you mentioned earlier that you've been speaking to a couple of the guys, I think to Chris and Jerry, and
yeah,
and Johnny,
and Johnny. Yeah, well, it must just the fact that they're back together and have been doing stuff, I mean, it must be such a thrill for you as well to see them back in that realm and the excitement that they all have for being back together with their brothers. And obviously we're all curious to see how they'll kind of approach the new dances, because I think the performances they've done thus far have been either on stools or more just
well, you know, everything is a work in progress, but you know, the guys are eager and they're happy and they're excited, and you know, we all love each other, and so you know, it's just, you know, it's a band of brothers, and you know, as long as it's fun, we can do something creative and give the world what they want, which is, you know, beautiful songs, great choreography, and something that will last a lifetime.
Well, we're so super excited, obviously. I mean, which fans aren't, and we can't wait to see what's being worked on. Make sure they come to the UK is all we say. We'd love to have them over here, and we hope again that Justin will feedback that our crowds have been really supporting him and been loud and cheering on, and we've been doing our bit, wearing our NSYNC merch to the shows and whatnot.
That's awesome.
We've all got our personalized tops that we've done, so we're so excited. It's been a long time coming, but the hiatus we think is over, so long may the next
fingers crossed.
Gosh, please.
We're keeping everything crossed.
It's so awesome to be on with all of you. Thank you so much for just you know, asking me to come on. It is truly a pleasure, and I really hope to meet you guys in person within the year.
Yes,
I would love that.
Let us know when you're over.
As
soon as you
I'm
sure we're gonna let you know when I'm let you know when I'm there, and I'm so excited to meet you, and maybe we can all go get a pizza together.
I would love that.
Absolutely.
And then you show us the bye routine properly, because we're all
absolutely
not that good
up
at
close
it.
and personal.
We have been practicing, as you can imagine, because of obviously getting bigger again, and I'm sure you can correct all of our missteps, because trying to learn it, we're a work in progress. We'll get there. We'll get there. We just echo what you just said. Actually, we're so grateful for you coming on and joining us today. I think, you know, just to hear about your story and the stories of the boys back in the day, it's just great for us to kind of hear those. So really appreciate the time that you've given us, and really excited to obviously see what comes next, whether that's coming over to the UK, but also in the projects you've got coming up as well. So we will watch with excitement to see what's next. With bated breath. Absolutely.
That's right.
Just before we go, so our listeners can, how can they stay in touch with you? What social media are you on that they can follow you on?
Please follow me on my Instagram, which is I am Darrin D. Henson, and it's with the blue check. And my website, come visit me at my website, thedarrinhenson.com. You can leave me messages there and I answer everything as well. There's wonderful merchandise there. And just really a happy place for people to visit.
Cool. The merch is really cool, by the way. The merch is really cool. I checked out your website.
Thank you so much.
Well, go and check it out.
I've had a great time with you all, and that ain't no lie. Bye.
What's more to say? Thank you so much, Darrin. It's been such a pleasure.
My pleasure. Thank you. God bless you all.
Bye.
And you as well.
Speak to you soon.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the NSYNC UK Space Cowboys podcast. If you loved this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell button so you'll never miss a moment of the action. And did you know you can also stream every episode the second it drops on your favourite music or podcast platform? It's that easy to stay in sync with us. And while you're at it, check out our Instagram page for all the latest NSYNC news, reaction, and announcements of upcoming episodes. Don't miss out, and we'll see you next time.